Hello and welcome to Geek Play Studio Tutorials. This is the second tutorial when we start creating our mountain range. I recommend you to go ahead and save your work, and I'm saving as step one. So now we can go start work on materials, and if something happen or I want to go back, I always can load it my first step so I'll have a fresh start. Okay, now we go ahead and start working on materials. And here is a couple interesting things. One, you can remember we was creating top layers. And if you want to know which layer is what, you always can just enable highlighters and see. So our first one, top, it will be base. So let's call base for this one. And we'll call this peaks. Okay, we will want to work right now with peaks. We'll start working with our base. And I want to actually create additional layers here. But before we do, let's apply some maybe coloring to our base. And that will apply generic to all our mountains. So something that very generic. We can go ahead and preload it already exists. Or in this case, what I want to do, it just created something our own. So let's select some default map. We'll go ahead and start adding this map. And best way to do this, actually, you can, if you have an image of your mountain you want to replicate it or something, use a color pick to pick the colors and match them with colors you're adding here. But in my case, I'm just almost randomly selecting different colors. So let me have a different preset, and we can just even create darker. This. So all what we do, I'm just creating this mix coloring map. Again, best way to do when you start creating those is have a reference image and match colors that you see on the mountains to the your material colors to your map when you're creating here. So let's click OK at this point. And next, what I want to do is edit function for the color distribution. Okay, the couple of things you notice is we have a medium range right here. This is what select our colors. So let's go ahead, select our constant number, and we'll replace with just a noise. We'll switch, we'll leave it as parallel noise. Only what I want to do is decrease grain, so we have the smaller ones applied. Okay, and position. Okay, you know what? Let me maybe, okay, we have it value garden. Maybe on this one. Oops, let me see. There you go. And I want to actually decrease my ratio a little bit down. So it will pop up, give it us a little bit better contrast between those ones. Okay, as well till we here, let's connect our bump noise to ours. Okay, click OK right here. We'll go to the bump and I'll just slightly decreasing this down. Okay, after you create your map, if it's still look a little bit too bright, I recommend just using your color correction. So in this case, you can go inside and you can just readjust that way what color you want it. So in this case, it will apply this color correction to all of your map. So you don't need to worry and mess around with your map. Just using your color correction, you can bright up or make darker or kind of tilt in some colors ways. Okay, we have our bump map. Very low. Okay, let's look on our highlights. I don't want any highlights at this point. Okay, next, let's go on our effects. And we'll just leave it everything as default here. So next, let's go create another layer. I'll take just the basic default. And what we're going to do with this layer, I want to create this layer actually, which is laid down on the bottom of our terrain. Let's even increase alpha boost so we can preview ways that will lay. And we'll go to inside environment tab for this. And right here, what I'm going to do is work with altitude range. So I want to do an drop actually down this altitude range. So let me go ahead, set maybe around here. We can always put it highlighter and we can see what range we're applying. So let's preview a little bit bigger image so we can process. So let me reduce. So you see right here, we applied to that height is what we specified. It's where materials will distribution will go. But we have a hard line. So the best one is increase fastness just slightly. So maybe about 13, 12. Okay. The one thing it will apply to all range, the flat and higher range. So let's modify our slope. And what we're going to do is go all the way, maybe to here, and just slightly increase on this point. In that case, we will apply to more flatter area, and on a steep areas, we'll kind of ignore that. So here is our one of the layer. Okay. Let's go back to our color tab at this point. And what I want to do is apply maybe some greenish color. So we'll just select foliage. Okay, and let's modify functions for this as well. Okay, and in this case, I will just add fractal noise. Okay, it will be simple fractal. The couple things we maybe want to modify, it is increase roughness. That will give us better contrast. You can see we start having. Okay, as well, let me just slightly make it smoother right here. So you can play around with these settings, but it will give it us nice. And let's connect our bump map to that as well. Click OK. We'll go into bumps and as well reduce. I don't want to have it too high bumps on this. Okay. And we'll just take at this point and we can decrease our alpha so we don't have it very strong. Let's preview what we have right here. It's where we have it. So we'll go to disable our highlights as well. You know what, a couple of things I don't like it. Let's switch this to world standard. Okay, and we'll leave it as 1 at this point, so we won't have this ugly bumps going all over places. So right here you can see where we start applying our foliage, and it is kind of going around, so it's look more like a grass on a close up. Again, if we want it, let's put a grass right here. We can modify, maybe add a little bit more yellowish color to this if you want to make a little bit more fall kind of looking. Okay, here, so we'll apply to this. So here we have more matching. Okay, this is one layer. There also, instead, if you don't like use it grass, what you can do, you can always add layer, and instead that what I want to do, I will use it something from our Megapack. We have it before, just as example. Okay, let me go ahead, load it. Okay, and I will use it like a grass field. So I can use it even image based. Okay, let me modify a couple things right here. And one thing what I want to do, it is actually set interpolation size. So we'll have it, won't have those pixelizations. As well on that, we can do same things. We can drop down below. Okay, increase and just do exactly the same like we have it on the other one. Let's preview at this point. So we kind of start applying them together. And reason is why we're using grass. You'll see when we start kind of zoom in. Okay, let's world standard. You will see high details grass with ours. So right now we're creating a very large scale of the terrain. But to do apply some of those maps, we will work with more details. Okay, so we're done this way. Okay, we have the base, we have our grass one layer, and we overlay with some details. and by alpha boost, so they will match very well together. Okay, bumps. You know what? Let me set a little bit less on the bumps. Okay, let's go ahead right now and create another layer. And it seems like we're creating a lot of layers there, but again, each layer, it will add all this special kind of almost effect, all this realistic look, because it's never, if you want to have it a very nice look terrain with very realistic colors, you actually need to work with multiple layers. In some cases, I know when people was using 20, 30 and more layers to achieve right view. So let's go ahead, add one more layer. And in this case, I'll just take a basic layer, and this will be look more as a dust for me. So let's as a dirt to that. Okay, and what I'm going to do on this, we'll go to environment, and I want to also put this dirt a little bit on a lower level. Okay, and the same things, what I'm going to do is just slightly pop up ours here. And when you add a bottom fastness, then you have it all away. What it does, it did remove a little bit alpha on a lower level. So it's kind of very interesting effect will be. As well, right here, we will have it, but I won't go all the way to the flat. So I want a little bit on a steepish more. Okay, we'll pop up here. And next, what we're going to do right now, it just will apply to all over, you can notice. So what I want to do at this point, I want actual work, add patches to this. And we're doing this by working with global transparency, apply just to this our dirt level. So let's click on the sliding icon. Okay. Okay, and it's automatically, you notice we have it constant right here, and we'll apply simple fractal. We leave it as the Pearl Garden as default. Also, all what I need to do is just a little bit increase roughness maybe on this point. So we'll just go and we'll leave it everything as default. Let's click OK on this right now. And maybe just decrease slightly. So if we preview at this point, you will notice now we have all these kind of patches of the dirt apply. And because we apply those transparency, so it's given us kind of like dust in some areas, this uneven looking on our terrain. It's so we already start having more realistic looking. Okay, next, let's do a couple things. Let's go take our base. I want copy this material. We'll go to the peaks. Oops, actually right here. We'll go to the peaks and let's, you know what, this top one, let's a little bit modify those peaks. Let's go ahead, load maybe some material. Okay, and this is okay. We'll edit function as well. We'll go ahead, add maybe just noise. Let's pop up so we have a nice contrast. Okay, and we'll start rendering. You notice right here on the top peaks we start having those interesting coloring. So as we'll add, again, if you don't want it orange yellows, you always can go ahead and apply like blackish filter, so it will apply darker to this. Okay, let's go ahead. Also, I'll maybe add our bumps to this. Altitude. Okay, we'll put it down. And you notice everything what I'm said, I'm working with world standard, because if we switch to the object parametric, you will have those crazy bumps going. At that point, we already have it several layers. Okay, I think what we can do, we can increase a little bit size so we can preview a little bit bigger. Okay, right here we start having nice position for this. Okay, next, you know what, let's add maybe some snow to this point. What we're going to do with snow, it is just add additional layer, and we'll just select white, flat white as default. And on a far away distance, you notice the snow doesn't have that many details, but we also will go ahead, just leave it color as default. Okay, except maybe, you know what, maybe just slightly in a bluish, just touch small pitch of the bluish. Okay, is bumps. We'll come back to this and I'll show how we can add very interesting effects to the snow layer. Okay, we'll go to environment, and environment is where we start applying two places where we want it. First, let's go ahead and move all the way to the top, maybe around right here. Let me enable highlights for this so I can see to what area we will apply our snow. Okay, and it's about that high I want it. Okay, as well, now I want to apply fuzziness to the bottom, not to the top because it's right here. Okay, slope range will leave it default, but I want work on orientation. And the reason is why when you have it work with the snow, what's happening, it depends if you have a storm or a sun or a south. And sometimes in areas the snow more kind of based on one side. So in this case, in most time when you have a sunny side, you have it no snow because it's melting. Or in this case, for example, we say, hey, we have a storm coming from that side, so let's just maybe set to the position to one side, and I want to actually increase toughness of orientation. So in this case, it's kind of tied right to this area. Okay, as well, just maybe slightly fuzziness on this point. And let's, pop up more towards this one so we have it way more applied. So right here, you can notice as well we have a very nice snow apply to the sides. Maybe it's a little bit too much of the blue. Maybe a bit more going to the white. And now let's apply some bump material to this. So I'll go ahead, edit function for this. Okay, and we'll apply a simple fractal. So as a simple fractal, let me increase, go up. We're going to pop up roughness. Let me run there, so we'll have it more details. Okay, we'll leave it gain and everything same. But the other things is nice to use for this. It is add strata filter right here. And reason is why, because we can have very nice layers. It's like almost snow sometimes was melting, and but some patches still be kind of layering over of the snow. So we'll go right here. We'll go to just reduce our hardness a little bit right here. We'll just leave it as default. Everything else that will provide us, you can also right here with very nice those layering already. And this will give it extra details to our. You notice some top one mountains won't have it white, and the reason why, because we have it right here, we did not apply to our peaks. So let's go ahead, we'll click store, we'll go down below peaks, we'll add layer. Okay, let's add as default layer right here, and we'll just double click so we replace it. On that case, we apply same materials that we have it right here to our peaks. On that case, we still have it coloring, but also we preserve all, and we'll save quite a bit time by storing and pasting our materials back and forth. So here we have it a very nice look already on our terrain. Okay, next what we're going to do, it is actually, you know what, we apply some stuff right here, which I don't want it, so let me remove those ones. So we'll delete. Okay, and there you go. So we'll restore to our original. Okay, let's preview. So yeah, we have it darker. Okay, next what I want to do, I actually want to add like trees or maybe ecosystem to this. And one thing what I do, I will select the grass field and I will click to create ecosystem. The couple things when you create ecosystem, one, it's may reset your scale, so be sure your scale still preserve. And one thing when you select layer, which one you want to apply ecosystem, it will take all the presetting from that. So it will save you time if you don't create just on top and creating from the layers that you want ecosystem to apply it. So we'll have it here. Let's go to the general at this point. And before we do this, because we've done all this great work with all stuff, let's go to mountain. Let's spell properly. Okay, let's go ahead and save this material. So it's always, you don't know what maybe happened, power failure, or you decide to change. Always save your work and also save your materials that you're working on so you can reload it, or if you mess up, you can come back to this. So you type name and just click right here on save button. Okay, and I'll just save as mountains material. On that case, I can come back anytime to this material and just reuse it. And next, we right at this point, so let's add some plants. And I want to add maybe just basic maple tree plants, and we can add multiple plants to this. You know what? Just maybe walnut, doesn't matter. We can also, and you see, we can add additional layer that will going put a grass around these trees. So when we start come closer, very close up, you can still have a very high resolution, as same as you look outside. So we're done with this. Let's go now work with the density slide on this one. Okay, and we'll just go ahead, pop up all the way to 96. One thing you will want to do, you want to enable dynamic populations for that. So we won't run out of memory when we start populating. Okay, next, what I want to do is work a little bit with variable density. And the reason is why I want to have it patches of the trees, not just all the way fill up. Again, if you have a hard time to know where the trees will place it, you always can go ahead. Let's select a brighter one. You can click on the highlighter, and it's also showing you where the ecosystem will be populated. So let's go variable density enable by clicking, and I'm just selecting blurb for this. Okay, instead I'm going to edit that function as well. And what I'm going to do is actually increase a little bit contrast, and I will do this by just increasing gain. So we'll go up maybe like this. Click on that case will distribution. Okay, and let me preview, and you can notice already we have it patches, but it's two small patches at that point. So I'm going to object parametric. On this point, we have a little bit better patches with our trees will place it. So you can see how in specific areas they will be growing. Okay, so let me go also, you know what, maybe it's too small. Let me increase a little bit those patches size. So we'll have it right here a bit less or more. Again, if you feel it's too high, you can decreasing. Just between them, see where those patches will kind of located on your density. Now maybe just slightly down like this. Okay. Next, what we're going to do, let's go to our scaling. And actually what I want to do, I want to apply similar to the variable scalings. And to do this, we'll do same. We'll select that one. Let's go to edit this function. Okay, let me bring to the screen. And we go ahead and same things, just increase roughness and gain. Actually, you know what, maybe just again, just playing a little bit. So we'll have it more on a scaling or our trees. As well, I want to increase shrink at low density. We'll just leave it as default radius and everything. And we can play around with scale, but as normal, I just maybe set a little bit lower on a beginning, and we can see how well they apply. So let's render our preview. It may take first time a little bit time, and you will notice right here when it start calculating, we start having more polygons when its dynamic ecosystem is populating. So we'll increase size of how many trees will display it there. So right here you can notice we have a very nice already these trees and they're populating in some specific areas. So maybe I want to actually decrease or increase overall at this point. So let's preview one more time. Okay, so right here we have a little bit more patching with the trees, and it's you can kind of play around and see which way you like it. If you want more trees, just decrease or increase. So you can see it's kind of, and as well maybe decrease of the scale of them. But you know what, I want to leave it like this for now, except maybe just pop up a little bit on the grass field map. Okay, so we're done with this one. Couple things, let's go ahead, be sure you select the top one, not any other ones, and click save. If you just select one layer and save it, it will save materials just of this layer. So be sure you select the root, the main one, and let's save this material at this point. Okay, so we're kind of done with this. Couple things you can also add to that point. It is, if you want it, we can go ahead inside our material tab, go ahead, open leaves for our trees, and we go edit function, and this point add variety to also to our leaves so they won't look exactly the same. Let's add maybe color map. I want to add a little bit more green. We'll select to this, select noise, connect to the noise, so we'll have a distribution. And on our blender we just slightly go this way. So what's happening, our trees will have a little bit all this kind of different coloring, and we'll go to can apply to world or object parametric, so it will apply to the areas, or let's leave as object standard. Let's click OK. It will take a little time till it's apply colors to all population, and we can do same things for our walnut. So we'll go ahead, add a little bit color variety to leaves on our trees. We'll go darker for this one again, and just play around with this, see which one you think it will work better for you. Okay, let's click OK, and let's preview variety of the ecosystem we apply. Okay, so right here it's kind of, you can see a little bit more variety in the plants what we have it around here. Okay, and let's go one thing, actually what I want to do with grass, with the density, I want to actually reduce slightly gain, so we have it a little bit more populations in the other areas, so it's won't go totally not there. Same as the scaling. Let's go inside the scaling and let me go up. I'll just decrease gain a little bit on this as well. Okay, I think we're done for this step and we're ready to go ahead and work on our atmosphere. So let's save this work as our step 2.